Hello, this video shows how to create a new Laravel project using version 7, but at the same time use the authentication scaffolding. Put it in simply, it means that you can create a brand new Laravel application with everything you need for user registration, user login, and password reset. So let's take a look. So open a new terminal window and then type in this command Laravel new blog. Blog is the name of your application, it can be anything, and then --auth, which means authentication. It will take a while to create the new Laravel project. It's now loading all the necessary libraries to create a new project. So I'm going to pause the recording for a while. Now the installation has completed. Let's check the version of our new installation. Do you know what's the problem here? Yes, I have to change directory to my Laravel project. Okay, and then I can use this command. Okay, it's set version 7.8. So let's start the Laravel server. Now it is running. So I'm going to start a new browser, which will connect to port 8000 on the local host. Now, as you can see, this is the default Laravel welcome screen. If you have seen Laravel welcome screens before, you will notice that in addition to the Laravel banner in the center and then the links, the standard links here, now we have two more links, the login and the register. Okay, when you click login, it will function just as expected. It will ask you to log in. Now, right now, it's not working properly. Why? Because we still have to configure the routing to force it to use HTTPS. Now, what you need to do is to change the routing so that it will force the browser to connect to the local server using HTTPS. Otherwise, it will not work under this cloud platform. So I have navigated to my application directory, which is blog, and I have opened my resources folder. Sorry, I have opened my routes folder, and underneath it you will find web.php. So web.php is already opened here. So you need to go to the bottom of this file and then insert this line, okay, which will force the browser to use HTTPS to connect to it. So let's save this, okay, and then we have to restart the server. So I'm going to Ctrl+C to stop it, and I'm going to restart the server. Okay. Now, if I start a new browser which connects to port 8000, it will work. Okay, so if I click login, you see now it works. Okay, so this is works as expected, just like a normal login system. Okay, of course, right now I don't have any username and password stored here. No matter what I do, I will not be able to log in. Okay. And you see there's a unknown database because I haven't created the database yet for this application. But you see this is very powerful. Okay, so I'm going to close it, and I have to do the necessary things to actually enable the login. Now, the reason I have that error is because I haven't created the database yet. Okay, so I need to create the database. So before I create the database, I have to connect to mysql on this server. Okay, so I'm going to start a new browser which connects to port 80. Okay, and then I'm going to type php myadmin, and I can see a list of the databases here. And you can notice that I only have the default databases that was created by MySQL at installation time. Okay, now if I take a look at my env file, where's the env file? Is under my application directory. So this is my home directory. Okay, and under my home directory I have my application directory, which is blog, and you expand it, you see a number of files. Okay, and .env is one of those files. Okay, which is the defines the environment for our application. Now, if you don't see this env file, don't worry. It's because you haven't right-click to hide, to show the hidden files. So by default, the hidden files are not shown in order to protect you from making mistakes. But in this case, we want to see those files. So right-click on the application directory, and then click Show Hidden Files. Now you see .env, and you double-click on the name, and then you see that's the file you want. Okay. Now, the line we want to change here is actually we don't want to change anything unless you want to change the password. Okay, but we'll keep on using the default password. Okay, so we are going to use MySQL, localhost, everything seems to be fine. The port, the database. Now you can change this database if you want to. For example, in this case, let me call it lara78. Okay, which tells me that it is 7.7 version 7.8 of Laravel. Okay, because if I have a number of databases in MySQL, that easily tells me which one it belongs to. Okay, and I'm not going to specify any password. So that's it. So let's save it. Now it is saved. Okay, and I need another terminal. So I'm going to start another terminal. Okay, and I'm going to do MySQL. I'm going to connect to MySQL using the root user. Okay, and let's press enter. So now I'm in MySQL. I want to create a database called lara78. So it has been created. Okay, so let's go to php_myadmin and see if the new database is created. Let's refresh. Now you don't see here because you haven't refreshed the page. So let's refresh it. And you see now there's a new database here called lara78. Okay. If you look inside lara78, okay, so let me open it. This is lara78. You see there are no tables found in the database. Okay, that's because we haven't done the migrations yet. Okay, so if I go back to the terminal window, okay, and then exit out of MySQL, and if I go to my application directory, which is blog, okay, and then if you look at the files, you see that you have a folder called database. Okay, so if you go to database, you will find some migration files. So let's use the file manager instead. That would be easier. Okay, and right now we don't really need the hidden files, so I'm going to hide the hidden files. I'm going to go to database. Okay, I'm going to go to the migrations folder, and then you see we have a number of migration files here. Okay, if I run these migration files, it will create the tables in MySQL. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to do php artisan migrate. Okay, and it executes all the files, okay, all 3 files here, okay. And now if I go back to phpMyAdmin, if I refresh this page now, I'm going to see the tables, okay. So let's look at databases. Let's look at Lara78. Now you see now Lara78 has 4 tables in it, okay. If you click users, you will see by default it has created so many fields. And let's look at the structure. This is browsing the data, but we have no data here. So let's look at the structure. Now, in this table, you have the ID, which is almost the primary key in every database you create in MySQL. And then you have the name, which is the username, the email of the user, which is also a key, email verified at. Okay, so optionally, you can enable a function inside Laravel which asks user to verify their email before they are able to log in. Okay, it's optional to you. You can use it or not use it. That's fine. Password. This password is to be stored in hashed format, so it's very safe. Remember token, whether user wants to remember his or her password in the browser. Created at, updated at, these are standard timestamps in Laravel. Okay, so the database is now created. Now if I go back to my browser, so let me start a browser which listens to port 8000. Now if I click register or log in, now previously when I log in and my password was incorrect, I get an error, right? Okay, so now let's do it again and click login. We still have an error. Database name seems incorrect, so we have a database problem. I think it's probably because we haven't restarted the server. So let's take a look at what's wrong. So what happened was, although I edited the .env file to use the right database name lara78, and I created the database lara78 in MySQL, however, the server was still using the old database because when it was started, .env was not changed. So now I have stopped the previous server and I restarted the server. Okay, so let me do this again. Let me go back to let me reopen another window at port 80. Okay, if I click login, and again I use a username that does not exist. If I click login now, you see now the correct message is correct. These credentials do not match our records, which is the correct error message.